The first topic from Module 2 is about D'Alembert's wave equation. So we have different type of wave equation, and to begin with, let's start with one-dimensional wave equation. And there are certain assumptions which is related in derivation of this wave equation. And that is, first one is we are considering the string as a uniform string. That means the mass per unit length will be the same. Then force due to gravity on the string is too small compared to the tension on the string. So that means we neglect the gravitational force in the derivation. The string is perfectly elastic, then that means there is no bending force required for bending it. Then slope of displacement curve will be very small. Vertical displacement is only possible for this kind of wave. That means two-dimensional displacement is only possible. Then tension due to stretching in the string is so large compared to the mass, and hence the action of gravitational force can be neglected. Okay, so there are four assumptions related to D'Alembert's wave equation. Now let us begin with the derivation. For that um, we consider a wave which is having 0 to L as its length. Half portion of a wave actually, half portion of a wave, not a complete full wave. We are considering just a portion of this wave, and we are considering a point at x distance and x plus delta x distance, that is p and q. Then at that point there will be some kind of tension which is oriented tangentially, that is t cos and we are changing it into t cos theta alpha and t sin alpha, converting it into their components like that. After the q, at the q there will be a small angle, that is alpha plus delta x will be there. Then we are changing it into t sin alpha, alpha plus delta x, and t cos alpha plus delta x. Okay, and the deflected string at fixed time t is drawn in this figure. The only force available will be tension, because in our assumptions we have already said that we are neglecting the gravitational force, the force required to pull it, etc. So forces acting are T only, but here the tension T1, T2 all are the same. And alpha, comma alpha plus delta x are the angles at the P and Q points. So net force acting on the PQ in the horizontal direction can be written as will be 0, and since there is no horizontal movement, we can write T cos alpha equal to T sin alpha, that is cos alpha equal to cos of alpha plus delta alpha, just for telling that horizontal force will be 0, but there is some vertical displacement, right? So we have to find out that T sin alpha plus delta alpha minus T sin alpha is equal to, on taking that T outside we get another equation, but we are considering alpha to be very small, so that sin alpha can be approximately written as tan alpha. T into tan alpha plus delta alpha minus tan alpha, that is this tan theta can be written as dy by dx at some at the point theta. Okay, so t into dy by dx at the point alpha plus delta alpha, that means slope at q minus slope at p. After that, we are going to write a equation for the force, net force, that is mass into acceleration. For that, we need to write the mass of that string element. It's a very small string element, so m into that is mass per unit length m into delta x into dou square y by dou t square um, is our net force, and that can be equated to T into dou y by dou x at the point alpha plus delta x and dou y by dou x at the point alpha. On rewriting this, we get dou square y by dou t square equal to T by m into dou y by dou x at the point alpha plus delta alpha and dou y by dou x at the point alpha. On taking limit, we get that the right side resembles us of dou square y by dou x square. So dou square y by dou t square is equal to c square into dou square y by dou x square. Where does this c square come from? C square is equal to actually t by m. Since t by m is always positive, we have taken a squared constant, that is c square. This is the one dimensional wave equation, and after that we have to solve this wave equation. We have to find the solution of this equation. For every equation there will be a solution, right? So here we are using the method of separation of variables. Okay, for that we need to write, we know also already know that y will be a function of x and time. Okay, so we are just substituting capital X and small x, capital X and capital T, and on deriving it with respect to t as well as with respect to x, just like in the equation, that is dou square y by dou t square is equal to c square into dou square y by dou x square. We get that x t double dash equal to c square into t into x double dash. On rewriting it, we get x double dash by x equal to t double dash by c square into t. Okay, so there will be three possibilities for the same equation, that is the k can be greater than 0 and k can be equal to 0 and k can be less than 0. What is this k? I mean the both sides of this equation will be equal to some constant, right? According to method of separation of variable, both side will be some constant. That means k can be either greater than 0 or equal to 0 or less than 0. So the first case is k can be greater than 0, that is for that that means it will be a positive constant, that is k will be equal to p square, be equal to some p square, that is on writing this we get that lambda square minus k equal to 0. Where do you got that? That is x double dash by x equal to x double dash by x equal to some constant k p square, that is x double dash minus x into k equal to 0. So on applying the lambda square minus k, we get that lambda square equal to p square and lambda equal to plus or minus p, and that solution of that will be x equal to c1 into e raised to px and c2 into e raised to minus px. And just like that we can solve for t also, t double dash by c square into t, that is the right side, or that is the one side of the equation, t double dash minus c square into k into t equal to some 0, and here k equal to p square, so we get lambda equal to plus cp and minus cp. The t will be equal to c3 into e raised to cpt plus c4 into e raised to minus cpt. Okay, so when we consider k greater than 0, y will be what? Y will be c1 e raised to px, that is x into t. That is how we begin the equation, that is y equal to x into t. So c1 e raised to px plus c2 e raised to minus px into c3 c raised to pt cpt plus c4 e raised to minus cpt. And there is another case, that is case 2, where k equal to 0, x double dash minus kx equal to 0, that is x double dash equal to 0. On integrating that, x dash equal to c1, and on again integrating we get x equal to c1 x plus c2. And the second case, that is t double dash minus k c square into t equal to 0, that is t double dash equal to 0, again t equal to c3t into c4, sorry c3t plus c4. So y equal to x into, that is solution of x into t aanu, that is c1x plus c2 into c3t plus c4. Okay, then there is another case, that is third case, that is k less than 0. So we can consider k square equal to minus p square, x double dash minus kx equal to 0, and t double dash minus kc square into t equal to 0. On applying that minus p square, we can solve for lambda in both the case for x and t, and we get another equation for y, that is c1 cos px plus c2 sin px into c3 cos pct plus c4 sin pct. When okay, so when t tending to infinity, only the third equation, that is k less than 0, it will be only is only valid. So the solution of the one dimensional wave equation is actually y equal to c1 sin px, c1 cos px plus c2 sin px into c3 cos pct plus c4 sin pct. Okay, okay, now let's apply the boundary condition, that is x equal to 0 and y x equal to L. So when we apply x equal to 0 and y equal to L, the y will be equal to 0 for every t. Okay. For the boundary condition, that is y at the point 0 comma t equal to, we get that c1 into c3 cos cpt plus c4 sin cpt, and that must be equal to 0. Since it's a boundary condition, we know that the wave will be like a sine curve, right? So at the end points it will be 0. So c1 equal to, we get c1 equal to 0. Then C3 cos CPT plus C4 sin CPT is also equal to 0 for every t. For this, CPT equal to 2 pi is the only possible solution. Then t equal to 2 pi by CP, CPT equal to pi by 2. Okay. Then y at the point x comma t equal to C2 sin CPX, since CPT equal to pi by 2 and C1 equal to 0. This is our first bound. On applying first boundary condition, we get this solution. Okay, then our y will be changing into c1, the term of c1 will vanish, and c2 sin cpx, px into c3 cos cpt plus c4 sin cpt will be our equation. Okay, then after that, when we know that, we can simply write c3 into c2 as a and c2 into c4 as b. Okay. And after that, on applying the boundary condition, that is y of L comma t, sin PL equal to 0, that is PL equal to n pi, P equal to n pi by L. Okay. Then we can rewrite the equation as what? Then we can rewrite our equation as y of xt equal to sigma from n equal to 1 to infinity a n cos n pi ct by L plus b n sin n pi ct by L into sin n pi x by L. How did you write that? Because p equal to n pi by L, right? So n equal to, for n equal to 1 there will be some value, and for n equal to 2 there will be another value, for n equal to 3 there will be some other value. So for commonly we can write this equation. Okay, then our final assumption is wave equation is a homogeneous equation, and we can apply principle of superposition. Okay, then the things that to be kept in mind is that dou y by dou t at the point x comma 0 equal to gx, that is velocity, initial velocity, and then there is some then y at the point x comma 0, that is initial condition, which is equal to f of x, and these are the initial condition, that is t at t equal to 0 we will have an initial velocity, that is dou y by dou t at the point x comma 0, and y at the point x comma 0 equal to f of x. Then there is two boundary condition, that is y at the point 0 comma t and y at the point L comma t, both will be equal to 0. Okay, and our solution is and our equation is dou square y by dou t square is equal to c square into dou square y by dou x square. What do you mean by this f(y) of x comma 0? That is the displacement, okay, which is the f of x. And these are the things that to be kept in mind before going into the questions. Okay, so let's begin with the first question, that is a string is stretched and fastened by 2 points which is L apart. Motion is started by displacing the string in the form of y equal to a sin pi x by L, from which it is released at time t equal to 0. Show that the displacement of any point at a distance x from the one end at a time is t, which is given by y of xt equal to a sin pi x by L into sin into cos pi ct by L. Okay, so let y of xt be a displacement function, and y of xt satisfy the wave equation dou square y by dou t square is equal to c square into dou square y by dou x square. Please try to write all those points, because the initial part itself will contain some common equations, even though every point in this solution is important. So we have to write first the boundary condition, which is y of 0 comma t equal to 0 and y of L comma t equal to 0 for every t, and initial conditions, there is two initial condition, that is displacement y of x comma 0 is f of x actually, right? So here f of x is given as a sin pi x by L, and dou y by dou t at the point x comma 0 will be equal to 0, that is initial velocity is equal to 0. How did you got that? Because it is already said that it is released at time t equal to 0, that means initial velocity will be equal to 0 for every x. Then a solution satisfying the boundary equations which we already derived, sigma n equal to 0 1 to infinity a n cos n pi x ct by L plus b n sin n pi ct by L into sin of n pi x by L. These all are common, right? So y at the point x comma 0 is equal to sigma, on substituting t equal to 0 in this equation, we get sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n sin n pi x by L, which is equal to what is given in the question, that is a sin pi x by L. Okay, so a1 sin pi x by L plus a2 sin 2 pi x by L plus a3 sin 3 pi x by L etc equal to a sin pi x by L, that is a1 sin pi x by L equal to a sin pi x by L. That is a1 equal to a, all the other terms in a will become equal to 0. Y at the point x comma t equal to, so the equation 3 will become, we can rewrite this equation since the term for an is missing. We can write this simply as a cos pi ct by L into sin n pi x by L, that is by cross multiplying from outside the bracket, okay, or expanding the bracket, we got that one, and plus sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi ct by L into sin of n pi x by L. Okay, then we have already applied one initial condition, that is the displacement, and after that we have the velocity equal to 0. So on deriving taking the derivative of the equation number 5 in the question, dou y by dou t equal to ax minus pi c L into sin pi ct by L into sin n pi x by L plus sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn n pi c by L into cos of n pi ct by L into sin of n pi x by L. And this term is actually equal to what? We know that, right? It is equal to 0. So sigma n equal to at the point t equal to 0, this equation will become 0, right? Derivative will become equal to 0. So on first we have to apply t equal to 0 in this equation, and after that we have to equate this to 0. So on equating this to 0, we get that bn n pi c by L into sin of n pi x by L equal to 0, that is b1 plus b1 plus pi b1 into pi c L by L into sin n pi x by L plus b2 into 2 pi c by L into sin 2 pi x by L, everything is equal to 0. On equating the coefficient, we get that b1 b2 b3 for every bn it is equal to 0. From the fifth equation itself, we got that what, since the bn terms vanishes, everything is equal to 0, our function will be a cos n pi ct by L into sin of n pi x by L. There are actually a few questions which you can refer to the material. Then there is another solution for D'Alembert's solution of wave equation. Okay, that is by we introduce two terms, two new variables, that is u and v, where u equal to x plus ct and v equal to x minus ct. Y equal to y at the point x comma t can be rewritten as y at the point u comma v, that is dou y by dou x equal to dou y by dou u into dou u by dou x plus dou y by dou v into dou v by dou x. Okay, then we know that dou u by dou x equal to 1 and dou v by dou x equal to 1. So our equation, that is dou y by dou x equal to dou y by dou u plus dou y by dou v. Okay, on taking the second derivative, taking the second derivative with respect to x itself, we get the equation, that is dou square y by dou x square equal to dou square y by dou u square plus 2 into dou square y by dou u dou v plus dou square y by dou v square. Okay, then next what we have to do, we have to take the derivative with respect to time, that is t, and dou square y by dou t square has to be calculated, that is c square into dou square y by dou u square plus dou square y by dou u dou v minus dou square y by dou v dou u plus dou square y by dou v square. That is dou square y by dou t square is equal to dou square y by dou u square minus 2 into dou square y by dou u dou v plus dou square y by dou v. Okay, so we got our dou square y by dou x square and dou square y by dou t square. On substituting these two in our equation number 1, that is dou square y by dou t square equal to dou c square into dou square y by dou x square, we get that dou square y by dou u dou v equal to 0. So wave equation in variable of u and v is simply dou square y by dou u dou v equal to 0. Okay, on integrating the last equation we get that on integrating with respect to v we get that dou y by dou u equal to h of u, and integrating on with respect to u we get that y equal to integral over h of u into dou u plus xi of v, which can be rewritten as phi of u plus xi of v. So y at the point x comma t equal to phi at the point, so u is what, u is x plus ct, so phi of x plus ct plus xi of x minus ct, which is the where phi and xi are the arbitrary function, is the general equation for a general solution of a wave equation, which is known as D'Alembert's solution of wave equation. After finding the solution, we can substitute the initial condition, that is y at the point x comma 0 and equal to f of x, and y at the dou y by dou t at the point x comma 0 equal to g of x. On substituting those, we get the y of xt as half of the f of x plus ct plus f of x minus ct plus 1 by 2c into integral of g at the point g of x plus ct uh, into d at x plus ct minus g of x plus ct into d of c minus ct, where given the initial velocity and f of x we can write this equation. So let's do a problem from the same part, that is example 4 in your material. The point of trisection of a tightly stretched flexible string of length L with fixed ends are pulled aside through the same distance on opposite sides of the position of equilibrium, and it is released from rest. Find the displacement of any point x of the string at any time t greater than 0 and show that the midpoint of the string always remain in rest. The solution of y of xt of the one-dimensional wave equation is dou square y by dou t square is equal to c square into dou square y by dou x square. This is what I already said. First, to begin with the solution of the question, you have to begin with the one-dimensional wave equation and the conditions. That is, first one is boundary conditions and our common equation, and after that we have to write what? We have to write the initial conditions also, not only boundary condition, you have to write the initial conditions. Okay, um, satisfy the boundary condition y of 0 comma t is equal to 0 and y of l comma t equal to 0, and our equation is what? Sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n cos n pi x n pi ct by l plus b n sin n pi ct by l into sin n pi x by l. There is a graph which is given, that is a triangular wave, 0 to L by 3 comma A is the the point B dash, and C, the point C dash is 12 by 3 into 12 by 3 comma minus A. So assume that the points of trisection of the string are pulled aside through a distance of a unit on opposite sides, then the displacement function y of xt satisfy the initial conditions, that is y of x comma 0 is equal to, there are a few equation that is given as equation number 4, don't get confused with that. That is just a the slope of the line from 0 to L by 3, L by 3 to 2L by 3, that is just writing the equation by using slope of the line. Okay, then so dou y by dou y at the point t equal to 0 is given as 0 since it is started from the rest condition. um, then dou y by dou t equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity our equation, that is a n n pi c by l sin n pi c t by l plus bn sin bn n pi c by l cos n pi c t into sin n pi x by l. Okay, that is dou y by dou t equal at the point t equal to 0 means on deriving, okay, that is by taking a derivative we get a negative sign minus a n, sorry I missed it. When we apply t equal to 0, sigma n equal to 1 to infinity n pi c by l into bn sin n pi x by l. That is our sixth equation by applying t equal to 0 in dou y by dou t from the equation 5 and 6. We get that sigma n equal to 1 to infinity n pi c by l into bn into sin n pi x by l equal to 0. How did we write that? That's actually by the at the initial condition, that is initial condition, the initial velocity is equal to 0, so the derivative we have taken that's equal to 0 implies bn equal to 0. So our equation can be rewritten as y of x t equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n cos n pi c t by l into sin n pi x by l. Then equation number 7 is a half range Fourier series representation of y of x comma 0. Hence the coefficient a n can be written as 2 by l integral 0 to l y of x comma 0 sin n pi x by l into dx. That is a n equal to 6 by a into l square integral of 0 to l by 3 x into sin n pi x by l into dx plus integral from l by 3 to 2l by 3 l minus 2x into sin n pi x by l in plus dx plus integral of 12 by 3 x minus l into sin n pi x by l into dx. On integrating all those equations separately, and I think I have written that that's already written in the material very vastly, and after that final equation is take your time and do that integration and find the solution. 18 which is equal to 18a by n square pi square 1 plus minus 1 raised to n sin n pi by 3. Okay, so that is what the answer of a n, not the y of x t. So y of x t is actually what? Sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n cos n pi c t by l into sin n pi x by l. On substituting for a n, just write that equation once again, and but the question asked is displacement at the midpoint of the string, so substitute l by 2 in the place of l and rewrite that equation as equation number 8, which is given when n is even sin n pi by 2 equal to 0, and when n is odd 1 plus minus 1 raised to n equal to 0. Hence from equation 8, okay, it follows that y at the point l comma 2 comma t equal to 0, that is the midpoint of the string always remain at rest. To begin with the second topic, that is one dimensional heat equation, there are a few introduction that is given in your material. After the introduction, let's move into the derivation, that is energy gained will be equal to energy comes in minus energy that is going out. You can write the introduction, few steps of the introduction, okay, that's up to you. That's equal to minus k into alpha into dou y by dou x at the point x minus of k into alpha into dou y by dou x at the point x plus delta x. Why there is a negative sign? Because of the negative slope, the dy by dx will become is actually negative. Okay, so this will be equal to what? The total energy gained, that is S into alpha into dou rho into x into dou y by dou t. Okay, dou x into actually S into alpha into dou x into rho into dou y by dou t. Okay, delta okay, then S into delta x into rho into dou y by dou t is equal to k into Dou y by dou x at the point x plus delta x minus dou y by dou x at the point x. On rewriting this equation, we get that dou y by dou t equal to k by s rho into dou square y by dou x square, where k by s into rho is equal to what? Our constant, that is c square, which is this function actually, this y which is a function of x comma t, which is a temperature function or heat distribution function. Okay, so now let's do a problem which is example 5. A tightly stretched flexible string with fixed endpoints x equal to 0 and x equal to L is initially at rest in its equilibrium position. It is allowed to vibrate giving two of its points a velocity of lambda x into L minus x, where lambda is a constant. We have to find the displacement of any point x of the string at time t. Okay, so to begin with, we have to write what is our one-dimensional equation, wave equation. Actually, this equation is from the first topic itself. So, since we started it, this completed. Okay. So after that solution, after that wave equation, we have to write the boundary conditions. Then after writing a boundary condition, we have to write the common form of our equation, that is common form of our y of x t, that is sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n cos n pi c t by L plus b n sin n pi c t by L into sin n pi x by L. Then we have to write the initial conditions, that is y at the point x comma 0 equal to 0 and dou y by dou t at the point t equal to 0 is equal to, it is given in the equation as lambda x into L minus x for every x. From equation number 3, that is initial displacement equal to 0, we get that what, in our in our equation for y of x t, substitute t equal to 0, so we get sigma n equal to 1 to infinity a n sin n pi x by L is equal to 0, that is a n equal to 0. So let's rewrite that our equation of y of x t as sigma n equal to 1 to infinity b n sin n pi x by L into sin n pi c t by L. On differentiating this, we get sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi bn n pi c by L into cos n pi c t by L into sin n pi x by L. And not only deriving it, we have to apply the initial condition as time equal to 0. This can be written as lambda x into L minus x is equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity n pi c by L into bn into sin n pi x by L. Okay, actually this is a half range Fourier sine series representation of lambda x into 1 minus x. Hence coefficient of n pi c by L into bn are given by n pi c by L into bn equal to 2 by L into integral 0 to L lambda x into L minus x into sin n pi x by L into dx, that is n pi c by L into bn equal to 2 by L into lambda x into L by x into minus L by n pi into cos n pi x by L minus that is actually we are integrating from 0 to L. Okay, and do that up to do that integration and find the answer of bn, that is 4 lambda into L cube divided by n raised to 4 into pi raised to 4 into c, that has to be multiplied with 1 minus minus 1 raised to n. Okay, and this is our bn. So from equation number 7, y of x t can be written as sigma n equal to 1 to infinity 4 lambda into L cube divided by n raised to 4 and pi raised to 4 into c, that has to be multiplied with 1 minus minus 1 raised to n into sin n pi c t by L into sin n pi by L. We have already started with heat equation, but we didn't find the solution of that equation, right? In between that we already did a problem related to wave equation. Now we can find the solution of heat equation by the method of separation of variable. I hope you have understood how we did that method of separation of variable in wave equation. The same we are going to do in this also. Dou u by dou t is equal to c square into dou square u by dou x square, that is our heat equation. So we assume that u is a function of x and t, where x is a function of small x and t is a function of t. Just like we used to write p and q, here we are writing x and t, capital X and capital T. On for substitution we have to write what is dou u by dou t, that is x of x into t dash of t is equal to c square into t of t into x double dash of t. Okay, this is equal to a constant, and that constant can be either greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0. If it is greater than 0, it will be equal to p square. So x double dash t divided by x of x um, equal to a constant. So lambda x will become, lambda can be what? Lambda can be plus p or minus p, that is x equal to c2 into e raised to px plus c3 into e raised to minus px, and t dash c square into, t dash t divided by t of t into c square is equal to k. Here integration will be easy, so t will be equal to c1 into e raised to k c square into t. Okay, then there is another case. Okay, so already we have found out what is x and t. So u equal to x into t, so c2 into e raised to px into plus c3 into e raised to minus px whole multiplied with c1 into e raised to p square c square t. And second case is k equal to 0. So k, on substituting k equal to 0, we get that u equal to c2 plus c3x into c1. I think you can just read that solution, and I think it will be very easy for you to understand. And the third case is k is less than 0, that is k equal to minus p square, where lambda equal to plus or minus root of k plus ip and minus ip. Okay, that will be our solution. Since k equal to p square, our solution will be plus p and plus ip and minus ip. So x will be equal to c2 into cos px plus c3 into sin px, t equal to c1 into e raised to k c square into t, and that k is actually minus p square. Okay, so u equal to c2 into cos px plus c3 into sin px into c1 e raised to minus p square c square into t. To these are the three possible solutions of one dimensional heat equation. So we have already written it once again. By inspecting the physical properties, equation 1, when t tending to 0, equation 1 u will be tending to infinity, so the temperature can't be infinity, right? So at t equal to 0, it become a steady state. Then at time t equal to 0, in the second equation there will be no change in temperature because there is no term related to T. So that means the second equation is also not possible. So third equation is actually our solution. That is C1 on expanding the bracket, we get a cos px into b sin px e raised to minus p square c square into t. Here c1 and c2 can be written as a, and c1 and c3, which is another constant, which can be written as b. So that is our solution of our heat equation by the method of separation of variable. Now let's do a problem. A homogeneous rod of conducting material of length 1 unit has its ends kept at 0 temperature, and it is given an initial temperature u at the point x comma 0 equal to 3 sin m pi x, where m is a positive integer, and find the temperature u of x comma t at any time t. The solution of the one-dimensional heat equation dou u by dou t equal to c square into dou square u by dou x square, and u of x comma t equal to a cos px plus b sin px into e raised to minus c square p square t. Okay, there are boundary condition, that is u at the point 0 comma t equal to 0 and u at the point 1 comma t equal to 0 for every t, and there is some initial condition u at the point x comma 0 equal to 3 sin m pi x for every x, initial condition, that is the initial condition. So from on applying the boundary condition as u at the point 0 comma t equal to 0, we get a equal to 0. On applying the second boundary condition, we get that sin p equal to n pi. So our equation will become u of x t equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity b sin n pi x into e raised to minus c square n square pi square into t. From the initial condition,
u at the point x comma 0 equal to 3 sin m pi x, t equal to 0. On substituting t equal to 0 in the equation b, we get that bm equal to 3, and all the other term will be 0. Bn equal to 0 for every n other than m. So u of xt will become 3 sin m pi x into e raised to minus c square m square pi square into t, which is the temperature function. If L not equal to 0, L not equal to 1, this equation will become a common expansion, that is sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi x by L into e raised to minus c square n square pi square t divided by L square. If we apply some temperature to a system, what will happen? The at time t equal to 0 and at time t equal to t, and after that there is a temperature which is greater than t. So from 0 to t it will depend upon time, and after that t, the system has already reached its steady state. That means it does not depend upon the time. So there is a transient state after time t. We can call that system as steady state. Okay, so ut of x comma t is the transient state temperature distribution, us of x is the steady state temperature distribution. Since it does not depend upon the time, there is no term in the function t, so u of x only. Okay, then u of xt is the solution of the heat equation dou u by dou t equal to c square into dou square u by dou x square. So after a long time, u of xt will become the steady state, right? So u of x, u of s at the x is equal to limit t tending to infinity u of x comma t, when as time is very large. Okay, then us at the us, which is a function of x alone, is also a solution of heat equation. So we can apply this us into our equation. Dou us by dou t equal to c square into dou square us by dou x square, but it does not change with temperature. So our first term will be equal to 0, that is c square into dou square us by dou x square equal to 0. So on integrating this twice, we get us equal to c1x plus c2. This is the steady state temperature distribution of one dimensional heat wave is us is equal to c1x plus c2, which is independent of the time. Okay, and there are a few questions. Okay, first question is, an insulated rod of length L has its end A and B manipulated at 0 degree Celsius and 100 degree Celsius respectively until steady state conditions prevail. If A and B are suddenly reduced to 0 degree and maintained at 0 degree, find the temperature at a distance of x from A and at time t. So first we have to imagine that there is a rod which is having a length AB, sorry L, which is named as A and B, 0 degree at the A and 100 degree at the B. So U of S at x, that's a common distribution, which is C1 x plus C2. US at the point 0 equal to 0, that is initial temperature at the position x equal to 0 is 0, and US at L equal to 100. Okay, since it's already said that it's steady state condition, that's why we are applying us as us equal to c1x plus c2. Okay, then on applying this to our equation, we get that c1 at the point 0, c1 into 0 plus c2 equal to 0, that's already given, so c2 equal to 0. And the second case, that is us of x equal to c1 into x plus c2, c2 is already vanished, so that's equal to 100, means c1 into L equal to 100, that is c1 equal to 100 by L. So that is what first we have to do. We have to find c1 and c2. Okay, then on applying initial condition, that is u at the point x comma 0 at time t equal to 0, it is equal to 100x by L, right? 100x by L. How did you got that? Is 100 by L is c1 into x. Okay, so boundary conditions are u at the point 0 comma t and u at the point L comma t, which is equal to 0. Mm, okay, did you understand why we got that u at the point x comma 0 equal to 100x by L? Since 100 by L is c1 into x is already x, we have to substitute, then c2 equal to 0, we have written that. Then boundary conditions are u of 0 comma t equal to u of L comma t equal to
0, that is u of x comma t. That's already what we have derived. U of x comma t equal to sigma bn into sin n pi x by l e raised to minus n square pi square c square by c square t divided by l. And at the point t equal to 0, this equation can be written as sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi x by l, that is equal to 100 x by l. So bn equal to 2 by l integral 0 to l 100 x by l into sin n pi x by l into dx, which is why do we why we written that as like this, because it is a half range Fourier series. On finding that integral, we get the answer as minus 200 by n pi into cos n pi, which is equal to okay, cos n pi. This cos n pi can be written as minus 1 raised to n, okay, for n equal to 1 2 3 etc. From this, okay, from this we have found out our heat equation, that is u of x comma t equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity, what bn has to be written there, so it is 200 by n pi into minus 1 raised to n plus 1 into sine of n pi x by l into e raised to minus n square pi square c square t by l. If there are any corrections to be made from your part, you can do that. Don't rely on the material only. Okay, in the next part you can see an equation, that is u of x comma t equal to ut at the point x comma t plus us at into us of x, that is transient state temperature distribution function plus the steady state temperature distribution function is equal to our function, that is u of x comma t, and you can see the derivation for that. You can refer to the materials. Okay, now let's do a problem related to this transient state temperature and steady state temperature, etc. So there is a question called there is another question in the next page, that is an insulated rod of length L has its end A and B maintained at 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius respectively until the steady state conditions prevail. If the temperature of A is raised to 220 degrees Celsius and that of B is lowered to 80 degrees Celsius and maintained, so find the temperature distribution of the rod. Okay, so there is a rod of length L AB, which is having a temperature 0 degree and 100 degree. Then at at then it is given that the steady state conditions prevail. Okay, it's 0 degree and 100 degrees Celsius respectively until the steady state condition prevail. If the temperature of A is raised to 20 degrees Celsius, and that is the next figure, which is initial temperature. Okay, then after that it is B is 80 degrees degree, that is this one is called steady state. Okay, okay, and now we know that our equation, that is u of s is equal to ax plus b, that is v of x, that is what we have written as v of x. Okay, sorry, u of x. U at the point 0 is equal to 0 and u at the point L is equal to 100. So on writing that, we get that a equal to 100 by L. So our function will become 100 by L into x plus b is what, 0. So v of x is equal to 100x by L, which is the initial distribution. U of xt can be the, let u of xt be the temperature function. So initial temperature will be 100x by L. U at the point x comma 0 is 100x by L, and the transient state temperature is also given, right? That is at the initial position itself, at a time t it is 20 degree, and at the last position, that is L, at time t the temperature is 80 degree. So we have to find u of x comma t. Steady state temperature corresponding to u of x comma t is us at the point x is equal to limit t tending to infinity u at the point x comma t, us of x is equal to c1 plus c2 into x. US at the point 0 is equal to 20 degree, so C1 equal to 20 degree, and US at the point L equal to 80 degree means C2 equal to 60 by L. So US at X is equal to 20 plus 60 by L into X. Okay, so ut at the point x comma t is equal to u of x comma t minus us of x. Okay, so ut at the point 0 comma t is equal to u of 0 comma t minus us of 0, which is 0. Ut at the point L comma t is equal to u at the point L comma t minus us at the point L is equal to 0. that is transient state temperature distribution function is equal to steady state temperature, our function, that is u, the temperature distribution function minus steady state temperature distribution function. That is we have that is what we have found. um, then initial on applying the initially ut at the point x comma 0 is equal to u at the point x comma 0 minus us at the point x. Just substitute all these. That's all the matters. That's all what matters. Okay, 100x by l minus 20 plus 60x by l. Then we get ut at the point x comma 0 as 40x by l minus 20. And we already know that u at the point x comma t equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi x by l into e raised to minus c square n square pi square t by l square. When time equal to 0, ut into x comma 0 equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n pi x by l, which is equal to 40x by L minus 20, which is a half range Fourier series. So what you have to do, you have to find the coefficient which is bn, that is 2 by l into integral 0 to l f of x into sin n pi x by l into dx. Here f of x is 40x by l into 20, minus 20. You have to solve that integral and find the value of bn as 40 by n pi into minus 1 raised to n plus 1 minus 1, and ut of x comma t is equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity 40 by n pi into minus 1 raised to n plus 1 minus 1 sin n pi x by l into e raised to minus c square n square pi square t by l square. That is our transient state temperature distribution function. But we know that transient state temperature distribution function is equal to the temperature distribution function minus the steady state temperature distribution function. So the temperature distribution function is equal to transient state temperature distribution function plus steady state temperature distribution function, that is u of x comma t is equal to sigma n equal to 1 to infinity 40 by n pi into minus 1 raised to n plus 1 minus 1 sin n pi x by l into e raised to minus n square pi square c square t by l square plus that 60x by l plus 20. What is that? That's actually steady state temperature distribution function, which we have already found out in the initial part. Okay, that's how we have to do the problem from this part. Now you can refer to all those questions that is given in your material, uh, which is just a matter of doing the integration. And thank you.